is Rebecca Skillen. I am a CC tutor and welcome to week 1, cycle 1. And I am using this as a way to interact with the families in my community and as well as to kind of give back to the tutor community. I have used so many resources through YouTube and Facebook. Some CC connected, but mainly through the free resources of free ideas through those tutors on YouTube and Facebook. So I just want to say thank you, and let's get started. CC Cycle 1, Week 1. I'm going to give a shout out to Love Mrs. C. She suggests starting with geography, and I did that this year. This is technically my 3rd year tutoring. The first year I kind of jumped in as a sub around week 6 and ended up tutoring the rest of the year. And then last year was, lots of learning and lots of new challenges and experiences, as well as my first official year tutoring, but really my second. And now this year, which is also proving to have some challenges and interesting things that may come about. So I started with geography this year, and I have journeymen, and I had 2 kids. One was my own and one is the director's kids. They happened to be in my class, and I showed them the geography and had them help me prep the maps. I'd never done that before, and it worked out so well. So I color-coded the maps, had them, I had a master copy, and then asked them to help me with the extra maps. And we started at the table with geography, and it was great. I did use the song from, I believe it's CC Happy Mom, and she does to Mama's Little Baby. Mama's Little Baby loves the Fertile Crescent, Mediterranean Sea, quack, quack, quack. Because if you look at it and you look at it kind of in an abstract art way, it does look like a duck. So quack, quack, quack. Mesopotamia is kind of up high between the rivers. Sumer is low. And then Tigris is the top river. Euphrates is the bottom river. They flow, flow, flow. So Mama's Little Baby loves the Fertile Crescent, Mediterranean Sea, quack, quack, quack. Mesopotamia, Sumer is low. Tigris and Euphrates, flow, flow, flow. Okay, so that's what we did for geography. It was fantastic. I think we went on into math after that, and I have journeymen, so some of them, if they decide to do Memory Master, are going to, they're going to need to know their math facts, the actual equation. Others of them may be able to skip count. So I got the agility ladder out again. This is not something that I've used before, but I used it this week and it was fantastic. I have one that I connect. So I have a short one and a longer one. And they skip counted. Actually, we practiced, and this is always the trick of getting it to fold right, but that's not happening today, right now at this moment, while I'm trying to do other things. So we laid it out in a diagonal for our room for space. We did the equations together, and then someone was able to jump through the agility ladder while they were hopefully practicing their math facts, but the rest of us were looking at the multiplication equation and stating the 1 times 1 is 1, 1 times 2 is 2, and we did get as fast as we could get going, and each person had a chance to jump through the agility ladder while we were also saying the math facts. For the last 2 times around, we did just skip count, and one of my seasoned journeymen tried to jump as fast as we were skip counting. We had no injuries, thankfully, so we will probably revisit that as we work through our multiplications tables. We did a preposition. We did it to the song La Cucaracha, and I have a little shaker. So we did a preposition relates a noun or pronoun to another word. A preposition relates a noun or pronoun to another word. And once they got that, once, twice, I only had 5 kids, maybe 6, 5, 6, 5. I can't remember. It was a blur. But so then I had them walking in a circle, and each of them had a turn with the shaker for each time we said it. So we went in a circle a couple times, then I said stop and go the other way because I was getting a little dizzy. But it is one that we probably did more than 7 times just because it's just so easy to sing. A preposition relates a noun or pronoun to another word. And they really enjoyed it, just moving around with the beat. Okay, so we got those done. Oh, my tablet's falling down a little bit. So for history, we did the hand motions. I got them from a file of first quarter plans in the file section of the CC Cycle 1 Tutor Facebook page, and it is phenomenal. But I know Love Mrs. C has done these actions as well. But it is, there are no other gods before me, number 1. Number 2, thou shalt not have any graven images. So we don't bow down to them, but we're showing that we're not doing that. 3, not use the name of the Lord in vain. So we cover our mouth. We're not doing that. 4, remember to keep the Sabbath day holy, or that it is a day of rest. So number 4, I kind of look like we're falling asleep. 5, honor thy father and thy mother. And then we kind of did that your days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God hath given thee. There is a song to that through the app or through the CDs, and we played that a couple times and they really enjoyed it. I like the hand motions because it helps me remember. I now know the first 5 commandments backwards and forwards, which previous to I'd be like, well, I think there's this one and I think there's that one. So I mean, I'm a lead learner. I'm learning too. Science, we do have the acronym do keep pond clean or Froggy gets sick. So I use that in my own head to remember what the order is. But we also did some actions with that to, are you sleeping? So we did domain, kingdom, and I just forgot. Phylum, because it sounds like phylum, class, we pointed to the class. Order, like you're bringing order to the court. Order, family, you're rocking a baby. Genus, it's not genius, but it sounds like genius, so we said genus. And then species kind of has this beginning of the word speed, so we ran in place real fast. So domain, kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species. These are the classifications of living things. So I said, what are the classifications of living things? The classification of living things are domain, kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species. So that was science. Latin, I have for this week and next week, kind of played along with some of the Latin words, some of the English words, so to a chant. So, next week we might try maybe tossing something back and forth. It'll just really depend on how they've done this week. If we need to do hand motions, or if they love the hand motions, we'll do the hand motions again next week. So nominative, subjects, make an S in the air. Nominative, subject, genitive, possessive, mine, I possess it, possessive. Dative, like data in our brain. Dative, indirect object. Accusative, direct object. Ablative, I put an O around my head for object, and we spun in a circle. So object of the preposition. So nominative, subject, genitive, possessive, dative, indirect, object, accusative, direct, object, ablative, object of the preposition. So I remember direct object, you're accusative, or like you're accusing, you're being direct about it. So that's how I kept the indirect and the direct straight for myself. For timeline, turn this around. We did actions. I don't always do motions to the timeline. I kind of play it by ear by the population in my class. If they're really into it, you know, we'll learn them. If not, sometimes mid-year they kind of get a little squirrely and they just need something different. So we'll change things up, do different orders, see how they're doing with it, mix up the timeline cards. But for this first week, we did the actions. So it's an A, age of ancient empires. And then creation, you can just bring your hands up or make it into like a tree. Creation, and then it fell. So creation and the fall. Then the floodwaters come up. So the flood and the Tower of Babel. We just learned about Mesopotamia and Sumer. So they're between rivers. So Mesopotamia and Sumer. And then you can do the rivers if you want. Egyptians, you make an X in sign language, make it look like a snake on your forehead. So Egyptians. And then Indus, anything India for sign language is pointing to the middle of the forehead. So Indus, river, valley civilization. Minoans, they were bull jumpers. So Minoans looks like a bull. And Mycenaeans were known for their gold, so this is the sign for gold. You'll see it a lot through the timeline. So Minoans and Mycenaeans. So you just wiggle your Y. Okay. So that was our new grammar. For fine arts, yes, we did science first. We did the baby bean. We talked about what might happen looking at a baby bean. And I thought that I had my page in here, but I guess it must be somewhere else in my collection of things. But we did baby bean. It was number 45. So I have to find out where I put my paper. But we looked at the bean on the outside. We opened it up, looked at the inside, kind of asked questions of what did they think it was going to look like on the inside. We got some really great ideas. We opened it up. Some of those ideas were correct. Some of those we found out weren't. And so we had a lot of fun identifying them. They got to experience their first nature sketch, which please do not expect it to be any challenge A level nature sketch. I have a very new class to CC, which is a lot of fun. I have a couple of repeaters, but not my whole class has experienced CC before, so it's been a lot of fun. And so it was the first introduction of having a nature sketch, and it was a lot of fun doing that with them. I learned a lot prior to class prepping for this class, and that was a lot of fun too. I don't remember ever opening up a baby bean in science class in elementary school, and so I learned a lot prepping for science this week. For fine arts, we talked about oils. I used some inspiration from this book that I picked up at a bookstore when we were on vacation, and I was so excited to find it. I may not be using it every week, but I felt like it was a great start since Egyptians are in our timeline and it's ancient civilizations, that we would start with this. And we did some drawing warm-ups, just kind of relaxing our eyes, taking a moment to take a deep breath. And I don't have my daughters to show as an example, but I will say that I was actually very impressed when I drew this myself, and then I copied this in a bigger form on the whiteboard for them and drew along with them step by step how to see the curves and the straight lines, and we added dots because that was the one thing that wasn't in the actual drawing, a circle, and all the different elements of oils. So this was a lot of fun from my perspective. We did a warm-up with oils and making our straight lines and our angled lines, and I have people coming down the stairs that need to walk that way.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sorry.
So that was our fine arts. For presentations, I did have a little spot halfway through. I was like, oh, it'd be great to have a spot for them to know where to stand. So got one of my little agility things out. These are more for, like, you know, kicking balls around in circles or down a line. But it was great for them to have a visual of where to stand for presentations. I didn't have to use it at all with this group this first time around. I'm sure that will change. But everybody has a 2-minute time segment for presentations. And I told them that if they saw this, it meant that they had about 30 seconds to wrap it up. And if they got to this color, then they needed to just stop their presentation and end with, this concludes my presentation, what questions do you have? And it went really well, and I hardly had to use it at all. But this is very important to me, to keep time limits to that 2-minute mark, that they practice throughout the week, make sure that they're ready, because it is such a packed day of movement that I want to make sure each kid has an opportunity to have their time for presentations, and that we don't feel like we're cutting anybody short because somebody went over. So this is really important to me, to keep the flow of the day going, but also just that respect of our neighbor, the respect of our brother and sister to in Christ, to honor each other their time for their presentation time frame. For review, I have these. I love them. They're so much fun. You can get them on the CC bookstore. I have one for every cycle. They are so worth it for me time-wise. I saw this on the Facebook tutor page. It is a magic bag. So I put the cards in. They get to pick the card, but when they put it back, it goes somewhere else. So when the next person picks up a card, there's no repeats. So it's been a lot of fun. They loved it. We got through 2 weeks of review of cycle 1, doing Would You Rather. So I went online, and I just Googled Would You Rather questions for kids. This is from parade.com. I highlighted the ones I wanted to use. Some of them I didn't find very appropriate for my age group or philosophies on things. So I was careful which ones I asked, didn't get any too deep of questions. But they would answer a review question, and then on one side of the room was, would you rather be able to slide down rainbows or jump on clouds? And they figured out what they wanted, and then we asked another review question. So all in all, we ended on time, which is always fantastic. And we had a great day. I am so looking forward to next week. And if you have any questions to my families in my particular community, please let me know. I do have, for some of my people who weren't there on Tuesday, I have one of these for each of you, for each family. So if I didn't get one to you this last week, or you were absent, make sure to help remind me to get you one on Tuesday. Just has some of my contact information, a little bit about class rules, room parent, presentation ideas, just kind of throwing some out there for you. I will say with our class rules, I don't use class rules, I use affirmations. So my expectations for class are right here, and we say them every week, and they are, God loves me and he thinks that I am amazing. I am kind and I am an encourager. My mouth speaks kind words. My heart obeys and does what is right. My mind is smart and I love to learn and I will do my best. So these are our class rules. If I hear you speaking in a certain manner, I'm going to ask you, is your mouth speaking kind words? Because that's our expectation. Are you being kind and being an encourager? You know, are you doing your best? We talked about perfection is not best. Best will be different for everyone, but we always do our best. One other saying in our household is mistakes are opportunities to learn, and they show that you are trying. And failure is just, it's another way to know not how to do it next time. So again, have a great week, and I will see you next week if you're in my live on-site community.